Hey friends, this is Pammy Joe, the Lord's servant. I help people. I help you find and connect to God's voice in the noise. And there's a lot of noise on earth. There's a lot of old thinking and old teaching, and I am not talking about the things of God. I'm talking about a lot of traditional teaching. There's been times in the past when so-called New Age type teaching has come along, and it's not been in the best interest of mankind at the time it came, so it might have been kind of melted away without taking off and having the help that people intended who were participating in it. We have, as souls, we have eternal gifts built into us. Our human soul is an eternal spirit. We're sent. We volunteer and are sent. We agree to come to earth as human before we're sent, because God's not a tyrant who forces people to do things. He doesn't load people up on train cars and move them without their consent. He's not like that. He's not a person who forces things. He does forcefully help us when we need forceful and quick action to keep us out of trouble. He doesn't keep us from all trouble because there's lessons in trouble. But there's a race of beings, maybe more than one, who believes deep in their spirit that mankind is not equipped to be the best stewards of earth. And this has been an ancient disagreement between them and God since earth came into being and was suitable for habitation. There are beings out there in the universe, in the galaxy, whatever you want to call it, who don't believe mankind is equipped to manage this planet or manage their own spirits. So, some of them are the so-called fallen angels. Fallen angels had a disagreement with God many millennia ago. They wanted to be managers of mankind. They wanted to tell people how to live and then have the people do it, and everything would just be great. The trouble with that is that creates robots, automons, God calls it. It creates people who are just doing what they're told to do, as if they're factory equipment, acting on stimuli. That's not free will. That is not a spirit learning and growing and becoming healthy. God's power, God's spirit, God's energy is pure, and it helps us grow and heal and learn from mistakes, and gives us creative abilities. We have them, but it ignites those abilities. It triggers them. It's like a match striking and a light comes on. God's power is pure. His spirit is pure. Anyone who detracts off that and decides they know better than the pure truth of God is inviting deception. So, this video, briefly, is about demons and our fear right now of all of the amazing eternal abilities that have come to earth, and our healing, and how many of us are beginning to see ourselves for who we really are, not how we were raised, or, well, the misconceptions we thought about ourselves as life went through and we drew conclusions or were told things about ourselves. Demons are not fallen angels. Fallen angels are fallen angels, and they're contained. Demons are people who were convinced of falsehoods and probably offspring of the angels who came and procreated on earth with God's created human race. They're probably, some of them are spirits without bodies. They were here, they got wiped out, and they're still floating around. They're influencing people, and they're whispering in people's ears, both. But they're also, if allowed, will take up habitation in the form of doubts and actual lying voices in our brains. They will influence us. So we don't need to fear demons. They're not creative because they've cut themselves off from Creator. All they can do is whine, convince, and accuse. Manipulate, in other words. God does not manipulate us. God gives us choices, and we choose. And there are consequences, and we learn from them, and then we make better choices in the future because we learn. We're a learning species. So we do not have to fear that people with gifts will deceive us, because eventually we'll see through them. What they say won't end up being true. No worries. God has you covered. He's sending healing, light, and power and energy down to us for when we need it. I had a demonic voice talk to me today. It accused me when I was in an energy healing exercise with other earth angels. And I claim to be an angel because I'm aware of God and I connect to the eternal. So I'm on earth. I'm connecting to God's kingdom while on earth. Therefore, I am an earth angel. That is what I've become. Anyone can who connects to God and becomes part of God's kingdom on earth. One of them told me, you just attended a seance. And I said, I didn't even have to think about this. It just came out of my mouth. Literally, not just my mind. You're the ones that started seances to distract people from God. That's not us. That's you. And that's not what that was. That was a safe meeting, and God was there with us. That's what we do. We want the kingdom of God on earth because God is pure, healing, creative, energy, spirit, love, wisdom, strength, guidance. You are not, because you have separated yourselves from God. You've believed the lies of your parents. That is not our problem. What you invite onto yourselves, not just demons, but human beings who are choosing, they prefer to side with that anti-God attitude, anti-Christ attitude. What comes to you is what you've brought onto yourself, because the harder you try and push to control the soul and trade in the souls of mankind, the less will come to you in the long run. And we know that. We're with God for the long run, period. Thank you for watching today, and God bless you. Love you.